Bruce, have you started pumping any oil yet?
When I went over the vessel at about 2 o'clock, everything was set up to do to start that pumping. I haven't had confirmation back that they have started pumping. I will release that information as soon as I get it. I'm as keen as you guys to announce that out that they've started pumping, but at the moment I haven't had confirmation back. What I can say is that they've got everything set, ready to go. The atmosphere in the tank is the one that's worrying them at the moment. So they can't have, if you think about a petrol tank starting to operate pumps and all these other things inside a petrol tank, it's dangerous. So they're just making sure that is vented out enough to get rid of all the volatiles in there, so that they can actually, one, operate if they need to get into it. A person climb into that tank to move pumps around. So that's one part. They'll tell me as soon as it comes, and I'll put a release out.
Do you expect any minute?
I'm hopeful that today they will start pumping.
Bruce, is it too soon for night operations, given that you've got this clean together company?
They've asked approval for night operations. I've asked them to provide me with an evacuation plan off the vessel. I can't justify leaving people on board the vessel and putting them at risk unless we've got, first of all, a primary way of getting off the vessel if something goes wrong, and then secondary and backup ways. We're talking about the vessel. The soldiers are talking about it being eerie on the vessel as it groans and creaks, and it's not a stable place. And that's where the earlier diagram showed that it was very unstable. So we need to be able to make sure that we can get them off and get them off safely at night. That makes a whole range of complexity in terms of that. The purpose of my flight earlier today was actually to work through that evacuation plan with Spitzer so that they knew what assets they had available to get people off, where the landing points were, where the primary, secondary and tertiary landing points were to actually extract people should they need to be, to make sure that they had their other vessels that were able, if they needed to get a vessel in, what happens if someone goes overboard? So they've gone off and everyone's in full life jackets, with EPIRBs, with all of this, everyone's wearing lift harnesses the whole day, every day, the whole minute. So if something goes, they can be off to a safe part, which funnily enough is the bow of the vessel, which is wedged and fairly safe, and that's the primary extraction point. So as soon as they can finalise that plan to satisfaction, then we can consider it for night hops.
Could that be tonight? Could that be tonight, or is that too soon?
I want to see the plan. I'm not going to put people's lives at risk, full stop.
Understood.
So
is that a possibility?
If the plan is workable, it's a possibility, but the key part becomes, is it a workable plan? It's easy to say, these guys are keen. There's no ways about that. They want to do it, but it's just, we have to, it's that 30-second, 50-minute, take a breath, work through the plan. Is it safe? Is it not?
When will you see the plan?
When I get back.
And how late could they go without that plan? How late could they go tonight?
Probably around 5:30 would be the start having to extract. Even if they did get approval, they would extract the majority of people. They would leave 3 people on, which is 1 helicopter load, and then they would just operate in that way.
Are you aiming to get this all pumped out by Monday when the waves right?
Oh, we won't get it pumped out by Monday.
What rate will you be able to pump it off? How much an hour?
The big pumps, the Archimedes pump that they've got, the manufacturer's thing says it can pump between 0 and 86 tonnes an hour. So that's a great range to be operating in. My guess, 20 tonnes would be a number that I would work on, because then I think that's a realistic one. It's a long way with pumping that oil, heavy, Marmite through a tube. It's a long way and it's going to be tough.
Bruce, a question for German TV. How big is the chance, if the weather changes and there's a storm coming, that it breaks up?
There is every chance that the vessel could slip off the reef, and they've already got a range of options available to them that they've worked through about what to do in that event, as in what to do with the vessel and the parts of the vessel. So they've already worked through that plan when we had previous bad weather.
Bruce, I'll take that from him. Could you take us back to the slide with the fuel tanks and fuel lines?
Other way. One more. Other way. Go back to the one with the fuel tanks, the fuel budget. That's it.
Nick, about Mount Maunganui Beach, you said you opened it sort of lunchtime-ish, didn't you? I went out there after lunch, there were hundreds of people, but no one was on the beach because there's still the sign saying don't go on the beach. How are you going to get the message out?
That's probably a positive thing. We've gone out by a media release to say that we've opened the beach. The report I had coming back was there are hundreds of people on the beach, so probably distortion in what I got back. At the moment, we've opened that select piece of the beach. One point I'd stress is seafood gathering is still not advised, and we're heavily advising that seafood gathering is not an advisable activity to do along the entire coast until we've actually gone further in depth with scientific monitoring. As far as getting the message out, hoping that here we can get the message out. Mount Maunganui Beach at the moment, the main beach, is open and available for use and recreation, and we're hoping to review the rest of the beach from the southern part of the main beach through to Makatu overnight and tomorrow. Thank you.
When was your status update about that particular information? Just curious.
Just after lunch.
Because this afternoon I'm in the mountain and we've been driving around, I presume, on quad bikes saying that oil had washed up at Tay Street and that they needed people to clean it up. So, obviously you're not aware of that.
Yes, I am aware of it, and we had teams, I think, going to Tay Street to actually clean it up. As I said, these are reasonably solid patties, and I'll verify that they're going to get back.
Okay, so that's not only, it's outside of the zone you just mentioned, obviously. So is that how much of it is there that's now already participated in that sort of thing?
Interesting question. It's very heavy. Sagan is a very light amount of oil in a patty form that's washed ashore. These are able to be picked up by the responders by hand. The key important part here is we've actually gone through a course set of testing both on the main beach and in the waterway off the main beach, and further along for the water sampling, further along towards Papamoa. Our key interest is now to go through the sand sedimentation sampling and just check whether through the sand column we've got any oil that exists within the sand column. If that proves it's clear, then I'm happy to open up the beach right along to Makatu.
Nick, around the base of the mount, it's a real mess. There's a lot of oil in the rock pools and through the shells there. What are you doing to clean up around there?
We've had discussions with iwi, and iwi are very keen to get down in that particular area, noting the sacred sites and the specialness of Mount Maunganui, and so iwi are going to take that for action and start the clean-up operation.
What will they be doing differently?
Using mainly the sorbent type material to gather the oil, the puddled oil out of the rocks, and there will be, because the mount is quite an active environment, we're also expecting some natural dispersion to occur throughout the mount, the rocks around the mount.
What sort of product are you using?
It's a man-made sorbent product. The ability of this particular product is it's resistant to water, but it absorbs a huge amount of oil per amount of product used.
So is that the same as the stuff that we use in
The sorbent material that we use is a sorbent material that's internationally used, and the sorbent material that we use has a very high recovery rate of oil in the sorbent material.
What's it called?
Sorry, do you actually want to get into this? I think it's a Matasor product.
It's, on the wildlife side of things, I guess they were up to 1,000 minutes, that's starting to take off now, so we're sort of
Because there's not a lot of oil at sea, and we're watching the sheen, monitoring the sheen shift towards White Island, the impact on wildlife has decreased quite a lot, and so we're recovering a lot less oiled wildlife. I think about 130 birds and penguins currently being treated. We have recovered, I think, around 40 odd dotterels, which is a huge number and a really good effort undertaken by the wildlife teams. And I think there are around 7 seals currently in captivity.